you know.
Well, Trump just blew past. He just the one thing that we'll have to say about him is he said, I could shoot someone on Fifth Avenue and my people wouldn't give a shit. He actually is an adjudicated rapist on Fifth Avenue. A court of competent jurisdiction, a judge said by any common definition of the word rape, you raped that woman.
This is the dressing room one?
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, that may have happened, but I mean...
But a jury in a court said it did.
That fucking means nothing to me, because I know what they know, which is nothing. They know two people said two different things about something that happened in the 90s, and of which there's no witnesses or tape.
Well, you know
so
what?
I can't, look, I hate Donald Trump as much as anybody, but I can't say for sure I just know that. Just because 9 people said they think that, I can't.
First of all,
but yes,
they had more evidence. In other words,
did?
Yes. So she told me
what was
this
the
happened.
What was the evidence?
Other people that she told contemporaneous with it.
Well,
which
you know,
whatever. A jury said that
you know
did.
what? You know more about this case than apparently I do, and maybe if I knew everything, I would be completely.
I know that a jury.
Yeah.
I tend to have more faith in most people. In juries, I think most of them really try to weigh what's there, and I do know that a jury. But now I get too technical here, but by a preponderance of the evidence,
right?
It's a little bit of a different standard in a criminal case. It's beyond a reasonable doubt.
I'm admitting I didn't know that there was like.
Hold on tight, people, for when Bill Maher sat opposite political guru James Carville, sparks flew. The discussion quickly descended into a verbal altercation, and Carville launched the first blow with a forceful declaration. Even while not all Trump supporters are racist, it appears like every racist feels comfortable in Trump's camp. That statement set off a chain reaction, and he proceeded to portray the GOP as a modern-day version of the old-school conservative party. As stated by Carville, Ma wasn't about to let the left get away with it, so he called out the far left for its own brand of extremism, obsessing over ideological purity cancel culture and a tribal mindset that ironically mirrors the very MAGA movement they despise. He blamed individuals like Ron DeSantis and Vivek Ramaswamy for trying to outdo Trump in a contest of chaos to win over the most radical factions of the base. It's less about fiscal policy now and more about embracing extreme right-wing nationalism. This is when things became serious, as both Maher and Carville arrived at the somber and discolored conclusion. The political discourse in America is in ruins. It has evolved into a conflict where competing viewpoints are viewed as existential threats, and it is no longer just Republicans vs. Democrats. As Carroll noted, many Republicans now consider Democrats to be a greater threat than Russia. This wasn't your typical civil panel conversation. It was honest, frank, and unvarnished. If you care about where we're going, you need to hear this talk because party loyalty is stifling common sense, stifling meaningful debate, and dragging democracy through the dirt. Click like and subscribe, and together, let's dissect it all.
Genius to his madness, and the thing I always say about Trump, you have to remember, he's stupid and crazy, and they're two completely different things. And this is like the crazy part works for him because he's without a mechanism to edit or to pull back. So, you know, as my friend Jimmy always says, insanity photographs. You can't take your eyes off him. Obviously, whenever they put him on TV, the ratings go through the roof. And that's why insane people are charismatic. You can't look away. So when he does all this, I mean, not just sexual stuff, but certainly the sexual stuff, it's like, I'm going to own, and no one else in the world would even think of this as a strategy. And he has no strategy. It's just what he feels. He's all id. But to own that, to own being this kind of guy, and half the country likes it. Or at least it's not a deal breaker because they feel like it's honest.
At least he's honest. He says what he thinks.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to. The thing really like is he tells you it's okay if you hate other people. And he validates what that guy says. I like because he he says what I think.
Well, he plays on the fact that his people think that your people hate them and look down on them and see them as deplorables. I mean, I think they take...
You know, there's some truth to that.
Oh, there's a lot of truth to that.
And I'm as good a Democrat
Yes,
as
you
the
are.
next person. But you hear...
This was a direct, no-holds-barred reality check, not your typical political back and forth. When Bill Maher and James Carville sat down, it was more than just a political tirade. It was an in-depth examination of how deeply America has sunk into tribalism. Their message about true debate, the kind where people truly listen and argue with respect, is almost extinct now. Politics is a complete identity test that involves more than simply votes and policy. Your social status is a reflection of your political beliefs, and even a small deviation from the party line can result in banishment, cancellation, or worse. We're no longer trying to convince each other, we're just trying to win moral points, said Maher, who has made a career of pointing out extremists on both sides. Politics is now a sport of performance. On the right, it's about loud, chest-thumping nationalism and distinct playbooks. On the left, it's about rigid ideological adherence. Equally poisonous energy. Additionally, Carville didn't mince words when he declared, Americans are more obsessed with passing ideological purity tests than actually passing legislation that helps people. Why? Because the media system is now designed to incite rather than to enlighten. We are constantly nourished with anger, fear, and finger-pointing because outrage equals clicks, and clicks equal power. As a result, disagreement is viewed as betrayal and compromise as weakness in society. In today's political environment, your opponents are not only incorrect, but also malevolent. That attitude is what Maher and Carville were most concerned about. If we continue on this direction, America will not only be split, but will be caught in a never-ending battle between us and them, where winning the debate is more important than finding solutions to real issues. The twist, though, is this. They presented a challenge in addition to the usual dread and gloom. We must leave our echo chambers if we are serious about cleaning up this mess. We must get uncomfortable, engage in difficult dialogue, and truly listen to those with whom we disagree. The only way to break the cycle is to do it. This was a loud siren shouting out to anyone who was still listening, so no, it wasn't just another political spiel. If we don't alter course quickly, the division won't just exist, it'll consume us.
On me like, yes, that's your interior monologue. There's a lot of pressure on me because the FBI's looking into me for good reason. You don't say, so I invited the Russians in. I mean, like, it's so beyond it. This is not
the Russian ambassador showing him top secret shit. He was showing a guy at Bedminster, look at these.
But I mean, he does one a day, or he did when he was president, like something that only a nut would do. It's amazing to me that we lived through those 4 years, because when I look back on it, and of course the Trump people say, oh, you know, you have Trump derangement syndrome, and yeah, he blew up the world, right, Bill? I don't think, yeah, you know, you're right, he didn't blow up the world. I still think he could, okay? Is that completely crazy that I think a crazy person could blow up the world? No.
The shit that he did is like stunning.
I'm saying, no.
The documents case, if you stop and you think about it, like one time,
I could read 1,000 tweets that are just insane that just went by. I remember there was one that said he was mad at China, and he said, I hereby, he's the king, I hereby order all American companies to immediately, you know, work on a plan to change your, he was like ordering them to get out of China. Oh, I hereby order. And again, that's just insane that nobody else would even think to do that. But he doesn't think. That's his insanity and his attraction to people.
Let me ask you a question. Okay, history eventually finds out. They find this asshole Pius XII. They found the letter where they told him they were gassing.
The Pope during World War II?
Yeah. All right, we know from history he's been outed, I guess is what you would say.
Right.
Do you think, with all the history is known, would you guess that the Russians have compromise on Trump, or that's just liberal factors?
No, I have always said that the Russian hoax theory is a hoax. Plainly, there was something going on between Russia and Trump. It was not perhaps...
He is a seasoned veteran of the political trenches who has witnessed the true nature of the game and is not here to make it sound nice. He is not simply another pundit. In Washington, Carville made it clear that your adversaries had the same power to define you as your supporters. That's the harsh reality of how power operates behind the scenes. It's not negativity. Carville doesn't believe that political devotion has evolved into a sort of moral test in this day and age. He is here to remind us that politics is about winning, not about feeling good about yourself. If you want to win, you need to know who is rooting for you and who is trying to get your head cut off. Then came the actual headline. Carville gave Democrats a clear warning. Don't discount Trump. Carville's point is straightforward. Even if we've all witnessed the court drama, the scandals, and the constant circus, all of it hasn't lessened Trump's political influence. On the contrary, it may have strengthened him. Trump has a remarkable talent at capturing the anger of voters who believe the system has failed them. He is motivated by pure animosity rather than policies. Carville said it almost aloud. Democrats made the mistake of laughing Trump off once, and it cost them dearly. They might lose shockingly again if they do it again. However, treating Trump like a joke just makes the situation worse. Carville identified a fundamental weakness in Democratic strategy. Too many people prioritize morality over tactical acumen, popping champagne after every minor victory or demographic shift. However, Trump uses every controversy, news story, and adversary as fodder for his campaign. He rallies his supporters by portraying any criticism as evidence that he is against the system, which is why, no matter how crazy things become, his superpower is not reasoning but blowback. His backing is steadfast. Carville's point is very apparent. In this environment, winning is a fight, not a contest of purity. Trump is not invincible, but if you underestimate him once again, it can be a vicious rerun of 2016. It's equally important to know who is with you and who is against you. This was a flare thrown into the sky, not simply counsel. If you ignore it, there could be severe consequences. If you enjoy frank and straightforward political analysis, we appreciate you tuning in. Press the like button. Remember to ring the bell to stay up to date. Leave your ideas in the comments and subscribe for more.